So it's a Mojilu Rangilu city, always known for its food. As there's another saying, Surat nu Jaman and Kashi nu Maran, meaning the food is in Surat, whatever it is, and then you die in Kashi. Your last rites are in Kashi. So that is what Surat makes very special. So I think the definition of good design, maybe with the young designers, is that the more it becomes complicated in terms of structure, in terms of form, the better a design it makes. But I strongly disagree with that perspective. So I would say that things are difficult for you, things are complicated for you, but people would always look up to you if you aspire them, encourage them, and always tell them to do things that are original.
Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Abir Pothi's Samvaad. We are doing it from Surat now, or from Guwahati. And this is special because we have a very senior architect from Surat, Mr. Jignesh Modi. First, we'll talk about Surat, that, why Surat? I mean, how you were in MSU and then you were in Delhi, and then how did you land up in Surat?
Well, there's a personal side to it. My father was a central government employee. So he was posted in Delhi when I was born, and because of a primary education, he wanted us to stay in Delhi. So for almost 15 years, we stayed there. And then as he aged a little bit, he wanted to move. He really belonged to Surat, basically. So he wanted to move closer home. So then we moved to Ahmedabad first for a few years, and then finally to Baroda. So that's how I came to be in Baroda for my architecture. And after Baroda, I finished my architecture. I worked for a couple of years with Karan Grover, who's very well known all across the world. And then I finally thought that as Surat, during those times in late 90s, was the financial capital, considered the financial capital of Gujarat. So I thought that maybe moving back to Surat, to the roots, would be a good idea. So I finally moved here.
What do you think are peculiarities of Surat? I mean, compared to Ahmedabad, Baroda, I mean, even the other Gujarat cities. I mean, even compared to Mumbai. I mean, Surat is an older city than Mumbai.
Right.
So how do you see that? What is that authentic, peculiar, the flavor, the character of this city?
See, Surtis, I won't say peculiar, but I would say a very special trait of a Surti is that they are known as Mojila Surtis. Mojila is it's an Indian word, right?
It came much before Mozilla Firefox.
Yes, so that was a good one. So Mojila is fun-loving. So Surtis were always fun-loving people. They worked at leisure. They, enjoyed life to the full, to the brim. They never cared about, the past. They never cared about what's going to happen in future. I believe Surtis are the only people who believe that, okay, today, living in the present makes life livable. And that theory is still, Surat today is a cosmopolitan city. This population of Surat is 70 lakhs. But I believe the Surtis, the native Surtis might be around 20-25 lakhs. But still, that culture of being a Mojila person has seeped into the people who have come from outside. So it's a Mojilu Rangilu city, always known for its food. As there's another saying, Surat nu Jaman and Kashi nu Maran, meaning the food is in Surat, whatever it is, and then you die in Kashi. Your last rites are in Kashi. So that is what Surat makes very special.
So one other thing which is also signature in terms of this non-metropolitan India is that how Surat is one of the places which has really, grown. Like, it's also, as you were saying, that also very inclusive, diverse, respect, this whole industrial endeavor of people and business. Does it kind of change this design aspect of the city and the infrastructure and the buildings here?
Surat was always forward-looking. It accepted changes. It accepted the Britishers when they first came to India. They accepted them as one of their own. History tells us that they shouldn't have done it. But then Surat is, as I said, is a forward-looking city, has always been. And it always kind of encouraged growth because it had the financial, strength. It always encouraged new things. The cultural identity which Surat has been there for centuries. It is inbuilt in the psyche of a Surti. And Surtis were known for taking risks. Surat had the largest port in India. Even before the Mughals came in, it was called Chauriasi. Why Chauriasi? The region Chauriasi? Because it had ships from 84 countries of the world flying in and being in Surat. And being, what do you call ported in Surat? I don't know the word, but docked in Surat, right? So, since time immemorial, Surat has been welcoming, it has been encouraging business, it has been encouraging infrastructure, and everyone who has come into Surat has seen that potential and they have kind of built upon it. So we have never looked back, people from here have never looked back. Major disasters happened, plague happened, floods happened, but it was like a bad dream. Just 1 year back, if you come and look at Surat, it was moving full steam ahead.
How do you see this, the future shaping up now? I mean, because you are part of that future which is being made right now and living in this present as you are talking about. So where is Surat going now, and how do you think that this?
See, Surat has its eyes set on being the fastest growing city in the world. And that is a fact. It is one of the fastest, 10 fastest growing cities in the world as of now. Because of its infrastructure, it is now home to the largest office complex in the world, bigger than Pentagon, the Surat Diamond Bourse, spread over 6.5 million square feet of space, right? One single building housing almost 5,000 diamond showrooms and businessmen. Surat also has one of the largest textile markets in the world, 4 million square feet, which I'm proud to say we are a part of as designers. And see, as you grow, the ambitions grow. As the people grow, their ambitions grow. And they are looking to be, put a kind of a stamp on the world map that we are there, we have arrived. And everyone who's come to Surat, from, politicians from abroad or, statesmen, everyone has kind of spoke very positively about Surat.
Jignesh, can you let's walk through your own career journey in a way from now to where you started from, so if you can just run us through your.
See, as
you said, you were making the textile.
Yeah. I worked with in Baroda for I think 2 years, and then I came to Surat. When I was in Baroda, I was working with Karan Grover, and he was a very well-known and very respected and big shot designer, big shot architect in India. Through, I think, my journey while being in his office was to learn how to kind of, negotiate and deal with high-end clients. That gave me a perspective on, what people who are maybe millionaires and billionaires think about their homes, their offices, their lifestyles, and how do we deal with that. When I came to Surat, I was again working with a big shot designer, Mr. Hemant Khatlawala. And he was basically, we can say, the top guy in Surat at that time during 90s and early 2000, the first decade. There I learned that, okay, how do you kind of deal with the psyche of a Surti, the Mojila Surti, what they want. Because unfortunately, the awareness level of education was never kind of, a factor in Surat's growth. It never was. It was just the ability to make money, to, run good business. That was the main ability of Surtis. I think of all Gujaratis, that is, they are very good at finances, but not too good at, education. Things are changing now for better. So that gave me an insight of, the money is there with the clients, but they don't have that kind of awareness.
Sure.
So now we had two sets of clients, one who were very high profile, who had traveled the world, who knew what they wanted, and another set of clients who had the money, but they didn't kind of, know what they wanted. So it put me in a very nice sweet spot where you could deal with, both sets of people. And that gave me a very kind of a positive start. So when I started, I dealt with a lot of clients for whom we did private residences. We started off with private residences, private offices, and slowly, kind of moved on to commercial, residential, high rises, and textile markets. And it was a pleasant journey. If you know how to deal with people in Gujarat, in Surat in particular, see, you people in Gujarat never believe in paperwork. You don't have written contracts. As far as I know, in Surat, maybe recently it has creeped in, but we never have written contracts. It is word of, trusting nature, which helps you a lot. So if you can be in that, frame of mind, if you give good advice, if you become trustworthy to a client, there is no limit to what kind of work you can get. So slowly we built our practice. We also educated our clients. That was very important. The clients trusted us because even if they did not agree with our viewpoint, when the final result came, they always appreciate it. And I feel that is a big factor in our success as practicing architects or designers. Because when you educate clients, when you're doing something for them, they put 100% trust in you, and finally what they see, the results that they see, the results that they get, whether be it a commercial building or a private residential building or private office, they feel happy about it. And the trust grows 100-fold, and that gets you more projects.
So one of the things is, as you were saying, that one is this whole Surati thing, that which is like a very character signature thing about the city, and then things become globalized. People want to see that, they want to have the things which are like those standards of markers of globalized world. So how do we balance these two things, and how do we take and bring both together?
Rightly put, there's a marked difference in how things work right now. I mentioned to you that earlier it was like, the clients would not be so much aware of. I think they still are not. Traveling gives you a certain amount of, an awareness about what is going on in the world. But it does not kind of leave a lasting impression on you. Now, to what you want to do and what the client's perception is, the client is a little bit more sure about what he wants now because he has seen something somewhere. He feels happy about it. His family feels good about it. His wife feels good about it. And they want the same. But whether it is correct in our perspective, in our cultural ethos, whether in Surat, in Gujarat, in that particular area, whether it looks good, whether it connects you with where you are living, that is more important. So we try and educate clients till today, till now, that okay, this is what you want. This is, Pinterest comes in. They Google a lot of things that okay, these are the kind of interiors that we want. But then we try and educate them that okay, let us try this, let us do this, let us keep your requirements, aesthetic as well as physical requirements to make things easy. Let us keep that in perspective and let us give you a solution which would be ideal both ways.
I think it's also about that how we have moved from those, that having those picture postcards kind of thing replicated, then to experiential things, that we want to experience living that bit. It's like living that thing. As otherwise, earlier I think when I was growing, I come from Raipur and I could see that lots of houses were like, there's lots of facade outside, but then functionally those houses were like not so. But today, I think houses have changed. You were talking about the end user. I would want you to kind of run through this your textile the market project you had done.
Okay.
How did you think about it, the scale of it, and the people who are going to use it, and how did it come up? Like, what all the factors, what all factored into it?
Right. So we always make sure that whatever we design, whether it's the smallest, we're just doing a traffic island, very interesting traffic island, which is coming up. I wish I could share photographs. It's still in the process. To the largest, to the smallest residences, to the largest commercial spaces that we do, we always think of the end user. Because see, when you're doing a private residence, the end user is a family, a small family, or maybe a mixed family, joint family. But they have their own privacy, they have their own space, because they can spend that kind of money, for such facilities. But when you're doing textile markets, when you're doing such huge textile markets like 4 million square feet, 40 lakh square feet of space, now how do you make people over there relate to that space? Number one, because these workers who are there, say the textile market of 4 million square feet would have almost 1,000 owners, but it would have almost 200,000 people who are working in that place. Now, how do you design that space for 200,000 people who are low income, who are laborers, and they feel at home in that place. They feel that freedom of space. They feel like working there. They feel that, okay, they can express themselves over there. How do you do that? So, I would just give an example of this huge market that we are doing. We came up with the concept of chalks. Now, chalks are plazas which are prevalent all over the world. They are not open courtyards, because I think that's something which we do with private villas. But these chalks, because it has to be enclosed, but a space where, when you are standing there, you can meet up people, you can talk to other co-workers, you can get there, you can enjoy your breaks over there. So we devised this idea of chalks. That was number one, which was a very successful kind of an idea. People kind of spend their time over there, their free time, talking and chatting with each other, enjoying that airiness, that light, that space over there. Even some people used to come and bring their work over there and sit and do there, right? Then the another idea was having wide passages. What we have seen till now was that, okay, 2-meter passages were sufficient in markets. But we devised almost 4.5 meters of passages, which brought in a lot of light, which made living there possible, lively, and the kind of movement that happened there did not make it claustrophobic. Another idea which we came up with was that though the shops and the showrooms that were included in that space were double heighted, but there was a mezzanine, so it gave you less height. But in all the common open spaces, the height was almost 6 meters, that is 20 feet. So that airiness, that freedom of movement, because these people, the end users, which I would say are not the owners, but these 200,000 laborers, they don't have a space to go, they don't have a space to enjoy. So for them, this was kind of something which they never kind of imagined that this would happen to them at their workplace. And that is most important. If the end user is finally happy to go to work, then I think you have achieved something in your design.
Yeah. It must be quite a logistic kind of a thing to, get those people coming in and going out. Even that.
Yeah, it is, because we have, it's a logistic nightmare. We have around 42 escalators, around 120 elevators, all full size. We have parking for tempos and trucks of almost 2,000 tempos and trucks can park at a time. A lot of those things are automated, so that it's a 9-story, double-heighted. Each story is double-heighted. So 9-storied market, which is around 600 feet by 2,000 feet. So how does the packing which happens every evening in all those 5,000 offices, their big parcels, because the time is limited, between 7 to 9, the packing happens, everything is sent to trucks in the basements, in the lower basements, on the ground floor. So the use of escalators in a way, we have travelators where these parcels travel from your godown to the truck which is parked over there, and it reaches the same place where it is supposed to reach. So there is no intermediary from the office, from the godown to the truck parked. Only there it is kind of loaded and unloaded. That's it. Otherwise, it reaches where it is supposed to reach.
Wow.
And then there are things to do about, because in such a huge space, you have to take care of the firefighting, right? You have to take care of proper lighting. So all these things were real. There are a lot of consultants involved, obviously. We can't do it all on our own. And a big support from the builders also. They are very well-known builders in Surat.
I also wanted to kind of pick your brain about, having some kind of increasing aesthetic quotient in public spaces. One of the things which we notice in non-metro places is that, cities are like mushrooming very fast, and there's some kind of shortchanging happening in these public spaces, getting that aesthetic in place, which also brings lots of artists and sculptors into picture. Most of the cities are like having less playgrounds,
Correct.
more ornate parks, but again, smaller spaces now, less places to walk. So these public, since you were talking about end user, and city is also like a machine or a kind of a thing to use. How you see that happening in these cities in India?
We are in a difficult place right now. We need infrastructure. We need roads, wider roads. We need overpasses. We need metros. So how do we balance all that? And then we are losing the public places, public spaces. And when we are putting in all these infrastructure giants, we lose a sense of identity where we are moving in the city, because you're traveling on the road, but you are below a overbridge. So you don't know where you're going. What you can see is just the pillars. There's metro going on. Now there are multiple layered, bridges. Surat is known for their flyovers. We have 167 or so.
Wow.
All right, in a span of a decade or decade and a half. So when I'm traveling now, and I sometimes feel lost. Sometimes I also wonder that, where things are going, at what cost.
It's like a video game, you're in a video game. You're not
Right, you are in a maze, right, and you lose the sense of direction. Okay, that's all fine, but then what happens is it's creating a lot of negative spaces. Under the flyovers, you have wider roads, but then you have the pillars of the metro, coming in. You have the metro stations, huge structures, which I don't know whether there's any aesthetic planning involved or not, but what we can sense is there is no aesthetic planning. They are just placed where it is convenient. And it creates a lot of dark and negative spaces. I don't know, the government or the municipal corporations are getting a little bit active now. In the last few years, what we've seen is they've kind of trying to rejuvenate the spaces below the flyovers, where they make it more people centric, where people can come gather, because it's a shaded place. So either you leave it as it is, where encroachers would come and occupy those spaces and becomes more dark and more lethal for the society, or you do something about it. So I believe that they have now they are trying to take help of architects and planners and designers and landscape architects and artists, and trying to create spaces. That is one positive aspect after a long time that I'm seeing. Second thing is that all these traffic islands used to be just something which went around and you never knew why you're doing this. Even if it was not there, it wouldn't make sense. But now people are coming forward, companies are coming forward. It's a partnership with the local bodies. We are doing one traffic island just near the station. where it was a competition and we won the competition. Earlier, it used to be just given like that, whosoever wanted to sponsor it. Now it's competition because a lot of companies are coming forward to kind of, claim that space to design and for making it more people, for taking selfies. People should enjoy those all these spaces. So my wife Monica, who's also an architect, she kind of handles all the interior projects and all these, aesthetic. I would say the aesthetic part of
Okay.
our designs. And we've come up this Surat city is a city of textiles and fabrics, right? So we've created this island which gives you a floating kind of if you've seen that epic Marilyn Monroe picture, which has her floating,
She's
yes.
standing in the New
So
York.
it's not exactly that, but our idea was in that particular traffic island is to kind of tell a story about Surat. It's a city of textiles. Textiles float just like the dreams of the people of Surat.
Wow.
It's in the air. We have kept it very small, sleek supports where this whole structure is floating. We have made it look like a fabric. We used perforated steel charlies and gave it a canvas kind of a look. So it is the canvas of the life of people of Surat, the city of textiles. It is floating just like the dreams of people of Surat. And then it is soaring above the, the road, the
surface,
circle, the surface. And which kind of very aptly catches the aspirations of, everyone, each and everyone in this city. And then it is kind of lighted very colorfully. So that aspect of Mojilo Surat comes in, the Rangilo Surat comes in,
Yeah.
which, kind of reflects that is life is all about. It has to have colors, it has to have dreams, it has to have aspirations.
Yeah.
So I think we try and involve ourselves wherever required. And it gives a great sense of freedom when you do these things.
I also want to ask you one more thing that about, since lots of young artists are part of our Abir Art Foundation and Abir Pothi, so what do you suggest to young artists? I mean, what should they be doing to become more relevant in these spaces where, the buildings are coming up, the spaces are being designed? And lots of our artists come from small places, like they're not always like coming from metropolitans. So what is your,
See, rather than suggesting to artists, because they are doing their job, I would rather suggest that we as a fraternity of architects, designers, even bureaucrats, everything, wherever we need to spread awareness about it. And just recently I talked about this mural and this traffic island. We wouldn't have been able to achieve it without, we tried doing it without an artist. But then we wouldn't have been able to achieve the result that we got. We kind of took the services of Krunal Jhaveri, who's a fine art professor in the VNSGU, the university over here, good friend of ours. And the kind of the touch, this canvas touch that he kind of lent, the textured touch that he lent, kind of if on a grade of 1 to 10, if it was at 5 earlier, he got it to 9.5.
and humanizing it.
Humanizing it, kind of. So basically, what we see is that if we take them in confidence, if we involve them in our day-to-day projects, not only just, kind of in the finishing touches where you just hang a painting or a mural on the wall, but even taking their ideas on, when you're doing a space, how do you kind of manage that space that finally the end user also enjoys it by kind of involving them from the initial stages itself. A lot of architects or designers get the artist at the end. So that is not how it should work. And the second thing, the question that you asked, that what my advice to the artists, I know they are doing a tremendous job if given an opportunity. So now the opportunity to be given, I don't think they would be able to take it up independently unless there is help from professionals, from the government, from the bureaucrats, everyone.
Let me reframe this question. What should an artist do to get your attention as an architect and designer? You must have been to so many places in the world. So, what kind of art, personally interests you, or how do you experience art?
I have felt one thing that whenever I have visited museums, to specifically go and look at art and admire art, I don't know, somehow it has never worked with me. But when I'm moving out, on the streets and just traveling maybe by road, by rail, airports, in your daily life, that is what I'm trying to tell you. And you come across art. That is what inspires you. That is what gives you ideas. And I would call that accidental art, right? So you're traveling, you never expected to see something. You never expected to see a mural or a wall painting. You go out for walks in the morning, and then suddenly overnight there is some painting on the wall, some mural on the wall. So these are the things that always inspired, attracted, and that is what we look for when it comes as a surprise. And you sit there for a while, you admire it, and then you try and kind of think that what could you do with this if you wanted to kind of create a similar kind of a space in your design or somewhere.
So we are also we are like our generation basically. It's also like we are like steam locomotive drivers. Like we are digital converts. We are not digital natives. So now the people who are coming in practice, they're also like heavily driven by technology and AI especially. What do you think about that? I mean, how it's going to change, or on what? So that cusp of both things. We are also like maybe fortunate or lucky to be part of these two changes.
True, true. See, architecture and design is something that, our mind kind of should relate in very simple terms to wherever we are, or whatever space we are exploring or being in. It should not confuse your mind. You should not think that, okay, this looks nice, but kind of it looks, how it looks complicated. So I think the definition of good design maybe with the young designers is that the more it becomes complicated in terms of structure, in terms of form, the better a design it makes. But I strongly disagree with that perspective. You need softwares to, kind of create complicated structures and complicated designs. But why do you need a complicated structure in the first place? That's my basic question. Okay, you have all these softwares which would kind of, actually give you an idea how this can be created. So it is something which, which is greater than your mind, that your mind can kind of think of it, but cannot put it in practice. And that software will kind of actually help achieve that. But again, my question, why do you want that kind of a thing?
Yeah.
All right, because our mind, see, we've started from caves. I'm not saying we should still be in caves, or that is where we need to go back. But we are comfortable with something which is, easy to look at, easy to be in. There should be a feel-good factor about it. It should be relaxing. There should be plenty of light, plenty of natural ventilation. That's about it. That's what, architecture and design is all about. Okay, you bring in aesthetics, you bring in all these, finishing touches and all those things. But still, again, we don't want our house or office to be a museum where you can't touch things because you'd fear to spoil something. It should be something where I can be freely moving, where my thoughts could freely move, where I could do what I wished and not be restricted because I am in an environment where, everything is sacrosanct and I can't touch something or feel something or be what I am.
True. So talk about your partnership. It's like you work with your wife as your business partner as well. And so what do you both, how do you separate your division of labor as well as the collaborative thing?
Right. Very interesting. Actually, your team and more importantly, if your better half is an architect, it gives you a lot of freedom to do a lot of things differently, experiment more. But firstly, I would speak about the team, which I have at present. And my wife, as I mentioned before, Monica, she's also an architect. She was my junior in college, and
So you
that's
started working together, or you met and then you started working together? What happened first?
she was my
Junior.
junior in college.
Okay.
So it started there, the collaboration. It was a social collaboration, and then it, turned out we got married. And basically, I would say that there are distinct roles, to be played. If you don't want to get into, if two people who are artistic in nature. I'm not so much artistic in nature. She is more of that kind. I'm a little bit oriented towards, practicality, business minded, financial aspects and all those things, technical aspects and all those things. And she takes care of all the soft things which, dealing with the client's wife, the client's kids, taking care of, how to take all the agencies into confidence, schedule them, get to do them, better than what they could. So all that is her part. I mean, I would get angry if things are not being done, and she would kind of, inspire them that, okay, you can do it better. And that's how we have, made more success and met more success because of her nature to, kind of inspire people with, encouraging words
Soft
and
power.
yeah, soft power. And I think it's a very important aspect because it always makes sense that you have division of aspects, certain aspects that she would take care of, and certain aspects I would take care of. Otherwise, there would be conflicts, which everyone knows that even if it's a husband-wife team, there are conflicts if they are working on the same things, same aspects, same things again and again.
Yes.
Because it's very difficult to kind of meeting of minds is very difficult, be it aesthetic or be it practicality, because I would be looking at more of practical kind of things that, easy to achieve solutions. All right, we want to kind of get over and done with. She doesn't want to get over and done with unless it satisfies her in each and every aspect of that particular project, be it a small single wall.
Yeah.
She would not be done with unless she's got the last texture or the grain of color right. In the end, I appreciate that. But that process, I'll tell you, is excruciating.
Yeah.
Because of certain things, the project is not getting finished. We are kind of giving more time. But then at the end, as I said, see, I think it matches with the theory where the end user, when he is happy, you feel good about it. So similarly, when she is done with, even if it's overshot by 2 months, I feel I am the end user and I feel good about it.
And there is a sense of perfection to that.
Yes, and I
think when you are more into practical functionalities of stuff, we
Right.
wanted to like things can move. But perfection needs that kind of that finesse, which
Correct.
maybe yeah. Okay.
And with our team, we have never encouraged, we don't allow internet connection in office. Because, see, everyone wants, even the team, they are humans, they want to take the shortcuts. So if you give them something to design, they might come out with certain, ready-made options from the internet, from Pinterest, and they just present it to us. And it has happened with a lot of big shot architects that when they have done certain work, they've given to staff, they've given it to the team, they copy it from somewhere, it is there in the public domain, and then someone comes and tells you, "Arey, ye to iska copy hai, it's the same thing as on the internet." So we, from the very first day, decided that we don't want that. We want everyone to put their mind, their knowledge, their experience into practice, whatever they do, the littlest, the smallest of details, and come up with innovative ideas and designs. And that is where I think that's the most important aspect of, your team, your firm, your practice, everything. If you give that freedom of, okay, get it from anywhere, just modify it so that, it doesn't look like a copy, then I believe that our job becomes very mechanical, where you are copying something, you're just modifying it. There is no originality.
Yeah, the authentic.
which, and that is what we are supposed to do. We are supposed to be original in our ideas. So that we take care of. And I'm proud to say that whosoever works with us or whosoever has worked with us, I was also a teacher for almost 15 years interior design. And the students appreciated that kind of, methodology of not giving in to easier way out. And a lot of students strive to, after they finished, even while they were, in the college, they strive, they aspire to work with us because of this thought process. So I would say that things are difficult for you, things are complicated for you, but people would always look up to you if you aspire them, encourage them, and always tell them to do things that are original.
Thank you so much. This has been such a delight to kind of speak to you.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Same here. Thank you so much.